Okay, let's talk about making line plots. We're going to talk about how to plot these set of data on a line plot, and then we're going to look at clusters, gaps, and outliers. So we have to find any clusters, gaps, or outliers that happen to show up on our line plot. First, let's talk about the range of the data, because that's going to tell us kind of how much space we need on our graph, or what numbers that we need to put down there. Okay, and if you notice, our highest number is 98, and I think if we look through here, our lowest number is 79. Okay, so our range, that's the difference between the highest and lowest data points. Okay, so we know our lowest needs to be a 79, and our largest needs to be like a 98 on the graph. So let's start at 78, and let's work our way all the way up to, let's see if we can get all these to fit on there up to 100 with a good, nice spacing here. So if this is 79, let's start at 79. We don't need to waste the extra spot here. 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. I have plenty of space on there for the graph. Let me start. I'm going to number the evens in here. So this was 70. Well, actually, I think the way I numbered it up, I can go 78. That's 79. 80, 82, 84, 86, 88. Skipping every odd one, just so that I have, well, somehow ended up with a star. Just so I have space, and I'm not cramming my numbers together on the bottom, and you can still read them. That's the only reason I'm doing it. So let's put one more mark and get the 100 up there. Okay, now we just need to put a symbol above, some type of a symbol above the number for each of these data in the number. Okay, the star is selected. Might as well use that. Okay, must have been selected. My hand made one earlier. Okay, so I'm just going to go down the list of numbers and put a star above that number each time the number's read off. So the high is 98, so I'm going to put the star on the 98. Okay, then 90, 97, 85, 86, 92 twice, 92, and then above it, 93, 95, 79, 91, 92, 91, 94, 88, 90, 93, 93, and 92. Okay, so we've got our plot. Oh, we didn't even finish the range part here. Okay, we'll come back to range. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's finish off the rest of the question here, and then we'll talk about that range. That's kind of a bonus on this one. Okay, make a line plot of the following data and identify clusters. Well, a cluster would be like where a lot of the data is located. Okay, so I would say that a lot of the data is located right in here. Okay. We could include 94, 95, but since all of these within the box I drew have multiple data points on them, I would say that's the strongest cluster of those. So I would say a cluster, there's a cluster from, 90 to 93. Okay, a gap, are there any gaps? Well, I think there is a gap on here. If we look down the line here, there's some small gaps, but if they're only one number, like 87 is missing, 89 is missing, 96 missing, but if it's only one number, that's not really a gap. But this is a gap. Okay, so there's a gap from, what, 79 to 85. There's nothing in between those two numbers, 79 to 85. That's a gap. Okay? And then outliers. Is there some number that falls way outside the group of others? Okay? If we actually go down and talk about range right now, this is an appropriate time to talk about range. The range of this data is from 79 to 98, okay, or 19. Okay? So the range of this data is 19. Is there a number that we could throw out of our set? If we tossed it out of the set, would it give us a range that's much smaller? Yes. That number is 79. If we threw 79 out, we would get a much bigger, or a much smaller range. Okay? So I would call 79 an outlier. Okay? Okay, so we have our line plot. We've identified the outlier, the cluster, and the gap. We talked about our outlier if we threw it out. Let's look at the range without the outlier. Range without the outlier for this data. Okay? So the bottom number, if we don't include 79, is actually 85. So it goes 85 to 98, which is what, 13. Okay? So that increased it quite a bit, or actually decreased our range quite a bit. It made it quite a bit smaller. So you can see how those outliers really affect the data.